More than 25 years ago, I found myself in a very precarious situation where I found myself without a job, without a car, and without a home. And after a few weeks, I found myself a job in a retail clothing store in Durban called Jasper's. It was a friend of mine who did me a favor, and I managed to try a few things to get his business off the ground, and nothing really worked. And finally, I did something quite disruptive, a promotion where I got people to bring in their old pairs of shoes and offer them a 20 Rand voucher to spend in the shop. For many reasons, this promotion did work, and I was more surprised than most. But it actually was so successful that it got us into the paper. And on the 18th of April 1994, the Daily News did an article about this promotion and about the success of the promotion. And on the 19th of April that year, the article appeared on page 4. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, I got a call from a man. I didn't know who he was, and he phoned me up and said he had seen the article, and he offered to send a driver to pick me up to have a discussion. About 20 minutes later, a black BMW with tinted windows arrives, and I look inside. There was a thin little guy, so I got in, and he whisked me off to a place called Prefco House, up to the 4th floor into a big boardroom, and there I met a man. And that man asked me a whole bunch of questions and finally said to me, what would you think if I backed you in any business you liked? And of course I didn't believe him. 2 weeks later, the same man phoned me back again and offered to back me again. This time I took him seriously. And so now I had to come up with this business. And the business that I came up with was called the New York Sausage Factory. It was a fast food operation. I'd gone through a whole bunch of thinking and coming up with the idea. And effectively it was 12 different types of hot dogs. You take the New York Times, you put a bun in it, you put a English bang in the middle, you put a flag on top, English flag, and you call that an English. You take a chorizo, you wrap that in the New York Times, you call that a Portuguese, and you take a Burgos roll and you call that a South African, etc., etc. And I designed these 12 different types of hot dogs, and voila, the United Tastes of America. And I went off to my mentor and I said to him, this was my idea. Well, after a long story, he did back me, and I opened my first store on the 22nd of October that year, and I did 580 Rand and 20 cents turnover. And the reason why I remember that is because it was the most amount of money I'd ever made in that business. I could not make that business work. And I finally plucked up the courage after many months of trying to go to my mentor and tell him that I had failed. And went up to his apartment in Durban, in Musgrave Road at the time, and I said to him, quite dramatically, if it takes me the rest of my life, I'll pay you back. And I stood up to leave, and he told me, sit down. And he said to me, did I back you or did I back the business? And I said, well, you backed me. He said to me, right now, the business has failed. If you get up and go out that door, you have failed. Now, what would you do differently? So I said to him, well, I changed the menu, the venue, the pricing, etc., and gave him a whole list of things that I would do. And he said to me, this time, I'm going to back you again, but I'm not going to give you money. What I'm going to do is put a whole bunch of people around you. I'm going to put a person who is in one of my businesses, who is involved in advertising. And he's going to be the guy who's going to be guiding you around advertising and marketing. I'm going to get one of my accountants, and he's going to support you around your finances and your admin. I'm going to get a person who specializes in strategy, the CEO of another one of my big businesses, and he's going to advise you in strategy, and so on and so forth. And he surrounded me with a whole bunch of people to give me a chance at my second business. I opened up the same business for the second time at the Pavilion Shopping Center, a 52 square meter little store. I'd taken all the lessons from my first failure. I'd taken all the advice from my mentors, my guides, and I had applied them to this new business. This business took off. It was such an amazing success. It was so amazing to see the queues waiting 3, 4 deep, waiting for a hot dog, a New York sausage factory hot dog. Now, why do I tell you this? That became the blueprint of Raizcorp. Raizcorp is effectively a pay it forward for what happened to me. It's a place where we give people with blue heart that ability to stand up again and again, a second chance in life. We give entrepreneurs with the vision where they want to take their business, the platform on which to build their business. We do that by providing you with mentors, what we call guides, a whole bunch of guides. We provide you with a strategy guide, a finance guide, a marketing guide, a sales guide, and a personal development guide. We provide you with incredibly important learning for you and your staff. We provide you with infrastructure. We provide you with linkages into supply chains, access to finance, access to specialists, and a whole bunch more of support mechanisms for you, the entrepreneur. You see, what happened to me is not unique. Everyone in life needs a second chance. Everyone needs somebody to work with to realize their dreams. And Raizcorp is that place for you. Hope to see you in our corridor soon.